So we've come to the end of the first section of the Yoga Vasistha. The teenage prince Rama is in a state of despondency. Although the first section of the Yoga Vasistha is called dispassion, it's difficult to think that the modern response would have been to ultimately give him a course of antidepressants or to even have him sectioned, because he's threatened to fast unto the death. He sees no point in anything. But in the Yoga Vasistha, this is regarded as an event of cosmic significance. So the question is it a matter of brain chemistry? And this is a tricky one, isn't it? Are we suffering from a chemical imbalance in our brain, or are we actually seeing things, responding to things honestly? Is it not an honest response to go into this despondency? Well, I think that we can tell by what happens next. How do we move on from it? Do we lie in our bed all day? Do we get caught up in some addictive fixation? Do we let ourselves be hypnotized by hours of television, or get drunk in alcohol or other drugs, or get lost in pornography or something like that? So the question is then, how do we move on from it? Rama is in an acutely uncomfortable state. He feels he sees things very clearly and very objectively. And the first person to speak in the next section, which is entitled The Behaviour of the Seeker, is the sage Visvamitra. O Rama, you are indeed the foremost among the wise, and there is really nothing further for you to know. However, your knowledge needs confirmation, even as the self-knowledge of Suka needed confirmation from Janaka, before Suka could find the peace that passeth understanding. So apparently some kind of external verification is required. Rama asked, Holy One, pray tell me how it was that Suka did not find peace in spite of his knowledge, and how he found it later. So in other words, Suka was in the same position as Rama. Visvamitra said, Listen, O Rama, I shall duly narrate to you the soul-uplifting story of the born sage Suka, the son of Vedavyasa, who is now seated next to your father. Just like you, Suka also arrived at the truth concerning existence after deep contemplation of the evanescence of this world. Yet, because it was self-acquired knowledge, he could not positively affirm to himself, this is the truth. He had of course arrived at the state of extreme and supreme dispassion. So in other words, although he's got the total conviction that he's seeing things correctly, there seems to be a niggling doubt. He needs some kind of corroboration for it. I suppose you need some kind of assurance that it isn't just brain chemistry that's doing this, that it is in fact an objective reaction. One day this Suka approached his father Vedavyasa and asked him, Sir, how did this diversity of world creation come into being, and how will it come to an end? Vedavyasa gave a detailed answer to this question, but Suka thought, all this I knew already, what is new in this, and was not impressed. Vedavyasa also sensed this, and he said to Suka, My son, I do not know anything more than this, but there is a royal sage Janaka on earth who knows more than this. Kindly approach him. So it's interesting that this is how Suka expresses his condition, by asking about how the diversity of world creation came into being. In other words, what's it all about? So Suka has been sent to the royal sage Janaka. Suka thereupon came to Janaka's palace. Informed by the palace guards of the young Suka's arrival, Janaka ignored him for a week, while Suka patiently waited outside. The next week Janaka had Suka brought into the palace and waited upon by dancers and musicians. Suka was unmoved by this too. So in other words, Suka is not looking to get lost in anything. He's not. There's nothing which can hypnotize him into forgetting his discomfort. After this, Suka was ushered into the royal presence, and Janaka said, "You know the truth. What else shall I tell you now?" Suka repeated the question he had asked his father, and Janaka too gave him the answer his father had given. Suka said, I knew this. My father told me this. The scriptures also affirm this, and now you declare the truth, and that is, this diversity arises on account of mental modifications, and it will cease when they cease. Thus, when his self-knowledge had been confirmed, Suka attained peace and remained in Nirvikalpa samadhi.